Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Alchemy Lounge. I am joined by a very special guest today, all the way over in the USA. We have the lovely Annalise Oatman here with us, and super excited for this conversation because you are into some amazing different aspects of spirituality and shamanism and somatic healing and things, which I can't wait to talk to you about, as well as your lovely books. So lovely Annalise, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. Yeah, it's always interesting introducing myself. I actually just made the little bio thing disappear, but yeah, I mean, I really think of myself as a multidisciplinary artist primarily. And right now, where my expressive art primarily lives is in my books, and I'm weaving visual art more and more into that. Wrote a book and released it a few years ago called Heal Your Witch Wound. And I really think of the healing work that I do with people to be an imminent form of public art making. And even what we're doing right now, it's completely just tapping into the expressive channel and, seeing what happens. So that's really what all of my work is about. And I work primarily with women and female identifying folks are who I attract. But I love working with all genders and really just anyone who is interested in the feminine path of descent into the body. I kind of think of it as a feminine fire path, where we're not getting stuck looping in the cognitive, but we're going down to where that potency and where that alchemy really lives. So I do some psychedelic work with people. I love doing psychedelic therapy groups, and weaving somatics, expressive movement, expressive writing. I've studied shamanism in a Peruvian lineage from the Andes, so I weave that in too.
How cool is that?
And there's there's so much I could say because there's so many different things that I weave together, but that's the elevator pitch, as they say.
I love that. And this is, we're so multifaceted, aren't we? Like putting it into like a few sentences is really challenging because there's so many different aspects to all that we do. Yeah. And every one of us is unique with all that combination of all the lovely different things that you do hold. And I want to start with your book, if that's okay, because sure. I love anything about the witch wound. But for those of our listeners who don't know what we are referring to when we talk about the witch wound, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this lately, actually kind of working with my adolescent and preteen self in my own private healing and ritual work. And I realized it's so much about shame in a way, kind of that closure that happens with shame and feeling shame about our expression and fear about fully inhabiting our expression and our power as feminine beings, and all the dimensions of that power, which encompasses our deep knowing and our ways of knowing, which are not always totally rational, although the rational mind is beautiful and wonderful. We don't want to abandon that, but those deep gut ways of knowing and just the unique channel of expression that each of us is as women or as people who have a primarily feminine expression or way of being. We get trained culturally to fear that, and I think it is systemically feared, our power, and we still don't even fully understand it as a culture. We haven't seen it in a long time, what it looks like for a woman to be completely sovereign and living from her depths, and living from her gut and her heart and from her pussy, if I can say that word.
You absolutely can, of course.
From her root, and we're we're learning about that in real time. So I think we're collectively healing the witch wound in real time. And it's so cool that you're connecting with me from England, because I've been learning a lot about well, not a lot, like I'm not an expert on this area, but the cunning folk traditions, really modern Britain, that kind of stretch way back into the pre-Christian era. And I think this is something that I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. I think anyone who's in contact with Western culture, no matter what your ancestry or your heritage is, you have your own experience or your own internalization of the witch wound.
Yeah.
And people who have European ancestry, it's almost like there's an interruption of transmission from that shamanic pre-Christian wisdom. And it was literally burned.
Yeah.
So there's that layer of the witch wound too. There's a reclamation of, okay, what was lost? And how is that reclamation of what was lost the medicine that we need collectively on the planet right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's so, I love that you bring like the reclamation into it as well. I think sometimes like the word wound, it sounds raw, and it absolutely is. But I think with the witch wound especially, like, it's not that we want to disown that, it's showing up, and it's showing up in the sense of, you're afraid to speak, or you're unable to like come from your power or your sovereignty. Then of course we want to heal that, but it is that reclamation as well of the power, and being true to you and your ancestors as well, and being able to have the voice that they weren't able to have.
Yes, 1000%.
Yes. So I love that connection between the two. How have you found that this shows up for people, for your clients? How are you finding that the witch wound is presenting itself to them?
Oh, I love that question. Yeah, I was just reflecting on this the other day in the car.
As we do.
I was like, yeah, what does show up for women over and over and over? Well, I mean, women frequently either feel that they're too much or they're not enough, or some combination of both.
Yeah.
There's a lot of woundedness around worth.
For sure.
And being worthy of what we desire, being worthy of an abundant, autonomous life of expression. How does it show up for the women in my practice? Oh, I do attract a lot of women who are artists or creatives in different ways. And it's really incredible how tricksy that kind of internal creative censor can be. The part of us that wants to cut us off from whatever our art form or our creativity is. So I do see that with female artists a lot, that they might be incredibly gifted and it might be the deepest part of who they are, and yet they struggle to make that a primary practice in their life. And they know that when they do it, they're whole and they're well, and when they're not doing it, they're not well. But it's still, and it's hard, just the demands of modern life. We're all so busy, and I think especially women are frequently really, really put upon for different reasons. Like people do it to us and we do it to ourselves, and it just ends up feeling like there's literally no time for anything other than just putting out a million fires and responding to the world's needs. And and then that creative channel is abandoned. So I see that a lot. But yeah, I'm sure there's more I can think of as we go along.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. And I think especially with creatives, I found it's almost because there is almost like that performative element as well, and not necessarily, you know, if you're a creative and like you're on stage or you're in the public eye, but creative in terms of any kind of creative talent, it is almost like, do we have to wear a mask in order
Yeah.
to allow that channel to come through, when actually it's your most authentic self, and you use your creative talents in beautiful ways, like as your own healing in your own journey as well, which is just divine. And I love that expression, because it is, you know, it's connecting to your roots, connecting to your sacral as well, and bringing and birthing those creations into the real world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just feeling into that. Yeah, it's very embodied, isn't it? Like finding where that channel exists in your actual body.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I like that. How did you find your journey? Because you've got another book coming out soon.
Yes.
And this was very much a creative, I mean, any book is a creative endeavor, but this is particularly linking to art and to poetry, I believe. So tell us about that journey. How did that come about for you?
Yeah, well, I was going through a kind of dark night of the soul, underworld journey, where I was, the relationship that I was in during COVID didn't work out. And we realized we didn't want the same things. And my practice became fully remote. So all of a sudden, I was living in the Bay Area at the time, and I suddenly just felt like that wasn't my home anymore. But I didn't know where it was. So I just became nomadic for a while.
That sounds divine.
It was, it was a fabulous situation in a lot of ways. And I was like, it's like the human brain is not designed to deal with that many options. I was like, I could go work from Thailand for a while. I could go back to Ireland or the UK. I lived there for a bit in my youth, in my misspent youth. And I didn't know what to do. And I was kind of like squirreling around a little bit, trying to figure it out. And I kept coming back to New York, and I kept doing this at-home embodiment kind of erotic dance practice. And I would just put on one song and I would let my body move however it wanted to move. And then once I was in my body, I would just free write for 3 or 4 minutes, usually to the prompt, what is true for me now?
Oh, I like that.
What's true right now? Or, you could use different prompts. But I just wanted to find what was true after I got into my body and just write from that place. And I ended up with this huge collection of poems or poetic writing. And really the bulk of the most recent work has been just reducing, because there's, I think thousands of poems that I wrote during those nomadic years of just feeling lost and feeling like I was stripping away one egoic layer after another of who I thought I was and what I thought my life was supposed to be, because this was happening in my mid-30s when I always thought I would be married and having babies. And I think a lot of women think that.
Yeah.
And so that can be like a particularly brutal initiation, to be a woman in your mid-30s who suddenly finds, oh fuck, like my former relationship was not gonna work out and now I'm single, spinning like a top, trying to figure it out, and also trying to not seem too thirsty or urgent about figuring it out. But there's also these biological realities that I'm contending with if I ever want to be a biological mother. So it's like a nearly impossible situation. And I know a lot of people out there are in that kind of situation. So it's going through that and trying to write my way through. I was trying to feel my way through the body and through expressive writing, and trying to kind of find my way home through that practice, and ended up going to the Amazon jungle in Peru and
Mm.
sitting in plant medicine ceremony with Shipibo medicine people, learning from them, becoming initiated in the Karo shamanic lineage, which also comes from
Good.
Peru. And it wasn't like I just decided one day, oh, I'm going to get into Peruvian things. It just kind of happened. It was like I had to go.
Yeah.
And I could say more about that, but we might go down a rabbit hole.
We're all good. We like rabbit holes.
Go into Wonderland. So yeah, and that became a big part of, I mean, it wasn't like the ayahuasca solved everything,
Mm-hmm.
because I think a lot of people go into psychedelic medicines
Mm-hmm.
ceremonies or experiences thinking, oh, I'm going to come out of this and my life will be
Yeah.
good. But it was a huge catalyst for
Mm.
my ongoing process. And some of my old patterns had to get louder while they were on the way out. And
Mm.
so there was some kind of messy stuff that happened in my life after that, as I was shedding more old patterns that weren't working for me anymore, patterns of being attracted to men who were subtly disapproving of me in some
Mm.
way, or creating this kind of prove yourself dynamic.
Uh-huh.
And that was, that was when I would feel strongly, was in that kind of nervous system roller coaster with disapproving men. So I had to go back into that pattern, re-experience it a little more,
Mm-hmm.
and let that go. And ended up getting trained in psychedelic therapy myself, and
Mm.
did some ketamine experientials. And it was just like a classic Underworld journey,
Mm.
because as I stripped away layer after layer of patterns, old identities, who I thought I was supposed to be, I came closer and closer to my true nature through this kind of psychedelic series that I wove together for myself. And that's kind of where the book lands.
Yeah.
And I really tried not to have it be a classic memoir where I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, let me take you on this deep narrative journey of everything that I was experiencing and all my personal work. It's really a collection of poems with
Mm.
little narrative bridges just to help you
Nice.
hold the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of an experiment too, because it's different from anything I've ever written. And it was just what was coming through me. And so, yeah, that's an edge for me right now with
Mm-hmm.
my witch wound, I guess you could say, is that learning to trust the inspiration and trust what's
Mm.
coming through, because I'm having my internal judge come in and be like, you're writing a fucking memoir, like, you know what I mean? Like, no one cares about your personal growth process. Get out of here. But that's what was coming through.
And that's what's
And
needed.
yeah, and so I'm really like, I'm stripping away another layer that's like, yeah, you know what? I don't care. That's just
Mm-hmm.
what's coming through. And then whatever's coming through next will be what's coming through next.
For sure.
And
Yeah.
yeah, wow, I felt my energy rising as I was saying that.
Yay. Good. Let's take that. We love that. And there's so many things here that I want to unpick, because these are all like, when you say certain words, I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that. So I'm going to go to the underworld, because I am so drawn to like this kind of work, sometimes called like shadow work or dark feminine or like soul retrieval kind of descent work, if you like.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's never been, I guess, brave enough to walk into that darkness or to acknowledge what it means, how would you introduce them into that underworld kind of experience?
I love that. Yeah, let me think where to begin with how I answer that question, because
Go for it.
in my answer, I could kind of beautifully marry some of the somatic stuff
Yeah.
that I'm learning and working with and the shamanic
It all
stuff.
weaves in beautifully.
It does, because I think there really is a kind of perennial healing wisdom that has existed through all cultures throughout time. And it's just, we talk about it using different words and concepts, but it's in our DNA. We have an intuitive understanding of how to heal ourselves and each other. But oh my God, what was the
That's a very good question. Now my brain has gone elsewhere. I've got somatic.
Oh, how do I introduce people to the darkness
Underworld,
going into the underworld? Oh, yeah. There's several different layers of how I could answer this in terms of the logistics of how I orient people to therapy and healing work. I don't know if that would be as interesting for your listeners, but I do kind of have some statements that I give people at the beginning. Like sometimes things might get stirred up and you might feel worse before you feel better.
Yeah. I've definitely had that experience.
Yeah, and that's normal. But ultimately, whatever we encounter in the underworld, I strongly believe that is your soul child. And it might
got goosebumps with that.
Yeah, like it might be enshrouded in shadow. It's almost like it's been in the basement of your psyche for a long time. It's an abandoned child. And so they might look kind of creepy when you first meet them, or emaciated or covered in cobweb or shadow. It's you're picking up that underworld energy. But once you get to know that part of you and kind of dust them off and unburden them of whatever that stuff is that they're carrying, those are the higher angels of your nature, actually. Your most invaluable gifts. Yeah. And it's a practice, because I think we keep shutting off parts of ourselves throughout our lives. And like one that I'm working with now is realizing that I've been exiling and shutting off my sadness for a long time. So it's like there's this young sad part of me who's in the basement, and like that's so sad. And but that's my soul. If I don't own her, if I don't love her and bring her in, then there's a tinniness about me. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't have that deep feeling in my heart that's able to connect with people at a different level. So how do I talk to people about that? I feel like there might be another little thread I could bring in to really bring it home. It's sort of like, the underworld doesn't have to be scary. It's kind of cool.
I think it's really cool. I love it. I will gladly go to the underworld with anyone. I adore it. But I do appreciate for some people they're like, hey.
Yes. Yeah. It's really you're going into your body and you're going into your unconscious, because the body is the unconscious. And whatever you encounter in there, it's already been with you. You've already been carrying it around. And it's actually going to infiltrate your experience and your behavior in the world in a backdoor, unconscious, potentially harmful way if you're not aware of it. If you're aware of it, it could become your greatest gift.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I love that you spoke about a basement as well. I was on a retreat once and we were talking about our shadows and things. And I can't remember which of us was saying it, but we were likening like this shadow self of ours to a ham sandwich. But this ham sandwich was in the basement. And if you left the ham sandwich and you ignored it in the basement, it was going to go moldy.
Yeah.
And it was going to get worse and stinky. So we want to go and retrieve the ham sandwich.
Exactly. Yeah. Because that stuff it's there It's there, and
Yeah.
it's going through some kind of process within you,
Hmm.
whether you're willing to acknowledge it or not.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, it is an aspect of you, and we want to integrate that. It's not to disown it or get rid of it or throw away the ham sandwich. We want to integrate and nurture the sandwich.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Everyone will now want to go and eat a ham sandwich. But yeah, I love that. I also
What
love
time is it over there? Oh, sorry.
I love that you mentioned earlier about like the dance that you did to like really bring things into your body, because this was something that I still do actually find this a bit of a struggle sometimes, is to actually connect into the physical body. But obviously it's so important because this is our vessel, right? And it's our nervous system and our human. And I know for a lot of people, they have a similar thing where, when we say like, oh, do erotic dance or connect into your body, and instantly there's like a wall of like, I can't do that. I can't, even when you're on your own.
Yeah.
And I think this is a real barrier for some people. So how would you say to sort of begin that journey, or other ways that you use your somatics to come into the body more?
Yeah, I mean, yes, some people do have a big barrier to going into the body because, and for good reasons, the body hasn't been a safe place to be for a lot of their life. And there can be many different reasons for that, like actual physical abuse in childhood or in adulthood, or even other kinds of chronic abuse or kind of a chronic ambient experience of emotional starvation or even terror in the household for whatever reason. And then the body is continually being hijacked by this activation. And then the body starts to feel like almost sometimes like an enemy, because it's a place where these hostile feelings are constantly being held. And so you just, you totally cut it off. You live only up here because this isn't safe. And everyone is somewhere on the spectrum of either I can't go into my body at all, I'm not ready for that at all, or totally, let's go in there, I don't want to have any thoughts for a full hour, and I can do that. I have the capacity for that, or anywhere in between. And so I'm always kind of assessing where someone is and what their edge is, because a lot of somatic trauma recovery work is about finding that person's edge. What is the edge for their nervous system, and kind of playing on that edge to help them expand their bandwidth and their resiliency from where they are, but not sending them way over the edge. So we're always kind of like, ooh, where is that? Let's sit right there. So you're a little bit activated, you're a little bit challenged, but you're not super duper challenged, because that could be re-traumatizing and blah blah blah. But yeah, I mean, some people are very ready to go there, and I love Adriana Rizzolo's model for doing expressive movement with the body, where there's kind of, and I know there are different teachers and different models out there, but she's a teacher that I've worked with and learned from, and who I really love.
Nice.
So there's kind of 3 phases, where you start with gentle kind of swiveling, unraveling movements, and you can just start with one ankle and just kind of move it up that leg into that hip, and then kind of do both sides and move those circles all the way up the body. And you could listen to kind of a more atmospheric, soft, gentle, slow music for that one. And then it goes into more gnarly movements where you could be rocking out, or you could be doing actually defensive movements, or kind of actually clawing the air, being a lioness, or actually saying like, this is my space, or no, get out, like doing all of that. and it's you're challenging yourself during that stage. You're bringing yourself to your edge. And I feel kind of weird when I'm guiding people through that. It's an edge for me as a facilitator. But that's part of the practice. And And so you do that for one song, and that could be, a song that's more intense.
Yeah.
And then you bring it into a surrender stage where, anything that got shaken up, any feelings that came through during the intense middle phase can be contained and kind of rocked and then kind of surrendered and let go. So I love that model.
I like that.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll just do the unravel phase with someone in a one-on-one session. Sometimes, like in groups, we'll do the full 3 phases, one song each. But in theory, if you wanted to, you could do this for an hour. You could do 3 songs in the unravel phase, 3 songs in the middle phase, and so on. But yeah, sometimes the best prompt is just, how does your body want to move? What is the impulse in your body? And what's it like to follow that? And what's it like to do that with a witness? What's it like to do that at home alone? Is there a difference that we can explore? But yeah, it's just allowing that impulse in the body and trusting that the body does know what you're ready for and where you need to go. And you might not even need to rationally understand what just happened, what just moved through. But things are happening, and you will experience that. But yeah, it's another long-winded answer.
No, it's beautiful, and I love that there's a journey with that, which is really nice. I know like a practice I've tried before, I think it's just called swamping, and it's basically where you just pick a song and like you just go with it, whatever the song is. And for me, when I was like starting on that journey, and I was like, I can either like move and dance like a toddler or a stripper. Like there is no like in between for me at that point.
Exactly.
But that really helped me, and I'd like either just be like an inner child again and put on like my favorite like childhood songs, or like what I loved as a teenager, like when I was like raving in like fields and stuff at festivals. And you literally just move.
Exactly. And you're letting any part of your expression come through, from the toddler to the stripper. Sometimes there's a part of you that just needs to have a tantrum. And just be like, fuck this, or like, I'm sad and this is hard.
I think adults should be allowed tantrums. Like, I think that would make us feel so much better sometimes. Just throw yourself on the floor, kick and scream.
Exactly. And let yourself cry and like rip some things up. And and then sometimes that moves into a more erotic movement. It can. I mean, there's something erotic about just the opening in your body that you're allowing in that process, that comes through naturally. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sexual or sensual, although it can be. But I'm really interested in the concept of eros and the erotic as a mysterious impulse, longing for life itself. It's almost like that holy longing. And feeling that through your whole body, the longing to live and the longing to express from that deep aliveness. And whenever I've done that practice, I always feel like, and I know I'm not alone, I feel like there's this ancient lineage of just feminine knowing that what we call erotic dance, or even stripping, or any part of the lineage of different forms of erotic dance, to me, there's an ancient art form underneath that of feminine wisdom, of how to find eros in your body and to welcome that in actually as a potent medicine. To move things through and move different archetypes through and different emotions through. And that's how we heal. So
for sure. I don't know whether you found this connection as well, because when we're, when we're talking about that movement, or like even the pleasure of it, and when we do have that resistance to it, for me, I've seen it be like a resistance to receive as well, and to manifest, and to actually allow all the good things that we want to actually come in, because it's got to anchor in the body, right? Because this is what we're living in this world in. So
yes,
we've got to hold it.
yes. Yeah. And I find when you are doing this kind of practice, like swamping, whatever you need to do to move the stuff through, it keeps your channel clear. And then it seems to me that the stuff that you desire can come more easily. I don't want to say it comes immediately or just say, anything like that, but to even get to the place where you just enjoy that you have desires.
Yes. Because once we get the thing, the desire's gone then, isn't it? It's like on to the next desire, because I've got this one now.
Yeah. And desires, it's such a big part of my mental health. I just did a desires essay this morning.
I love that.
Yeah, because I'm at a place where things feel pretty good in my life, but I don't want to stagnate here. So I'm like, what are the desires that I'm giving birth to now? Because that's what keeps you alive and gives you that sparkle for life and what's next.
Absolutely.
Thank God or goddess or whoever that we have desires.
Yeah.
And so you were saying just feeling it in your heart and letting it land there.
Yeah, anchoring it in. And I always feel, have one foot in gratitude and being so thankful for all that we do have, but always keep one foot in desire, because then you're always going to be moving and you're not going to get into that stagnation.
Yes, that's what pulls us forward.
Yeah.
In life.
And it feels good.
It does. It feels good to desire, and to even just take one step towards even one of your small desires, and to be like, oh, okay, I'm living a little more with my desires now. So one of my desires this morning, I'm almost like judging myself for saying this.
There is no judgment here.
Aw. You're fun to talk to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I want some press-on red nails.
Ooh.
So I'm just gonna do that. That's one little thing. I wrote a whole essay of what my life would look like if I abandoned myself to each and every single one of my desires. That's actually a practice from Regina Thomashauer, Mama Gina, the pleasure queen.
Yes. I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? Aha.
Yeah. And obviously there's large and small desires in there, but even just one of the little ones, your whole day changes. So
and that's what we want. We want, micro steps, compound, and create the big results.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I love that. I love that you did an essay. That's brilliant.
I'm gonna write an essay about my desires.
Oh, fun. There was something else that I really wanted to talk to you about as well, because I just love the phrasing of this, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit more about this. But you talk about destiny retrieval.
Oh, yeah. So
tell us more about this.
Yeah, I haven't spoken about this in a while. This is so in the shamanic lineage that I've been initiated into, you go around the medicine wheel, and destiny retrieval is the fourth of the four parts of the medicine wheel. So that's the destination. You start with illuminations, where you're kind of clearing energetic imprints, different energy centers, and then you're extracting any intrusive energy that might be in the energy body. And then you're doing soul retrieval, and finally destiny retrieval. So let me think how to explain this. So they think of the momentum of your past is kind of a momentum tunnel behind
Mm-hmm.
you in a way. And all the different possible futures in front of you are kind of, the energy is splitting off in
Okay.
many, many different directions. But there's usually a certain kind of momentum behind you. If you were to change nothing about the way you're living now,
Mm-hmm.
your momentum would take you in a certain direction.
Yeah.
But there's this idea that there is the most beautiful possible destiny for you that's over here on this side. And if you kind of think of your momentum tunnel as a truck that's fully loaded with stuff and has a lot
Mm-hmm.
of weight and has been going down the freeway fast, it's got a lot of momentum going that way. So if you're going to change the trajectory, you need to slow down and lighten up.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Or you don't flip over. I love that idea. So once you've gone all the way around the medicine wheel and experienced whatever transformations that had in store for you, then you slow down,
Mm-hmm.
you lighten up, you let all that old stuff go, and you go on a journey with the shaman to receive a vision of what could be in store for you if you were to get aligned with this most exalted, most beautiful destiny from where you are now. And the shaman might receive a vision of it. You might receive a vision of it. I really like to invite both people to just receive whatever's coming in.
Yeah.
And then, and I mean, and you don't even have to know exactly what it is in that session, but within this framework and this school of thought, just by doing the energy work and getting aligned energetically, you are going towards that other destiny now. And it's, often something that's better than what you could have imagined. And I did get to a point on the medicine wheel where I did a destiny retrieval with a shaman. And when I look at, I hadn't really thought about this until now, but when I look at the last few years of my life that I documented in the book that's coming out, it really is remarkable how I ended up where I am now, in the place that I am now, with the people, like the exact right, amazing people in a situation that is better than what I could have dreamed up.
Yeah.
And it's like so many different things had to go right for that to happen. It really is like I aligned with a different track. So yeah.
How
I
cool is
haven't
that?
done a destiny retrieval with a client yet, if I'm totally honest. We haven't gone
How
all the way
fun.
around the medicine wheel, because frequently people come to see me and they're doing somatic therapy with me, or they're doing psychedelic therapy, and they ask for some illuminations, which are the first part of the medicine wheel. And usually people kind of want to, they don't want to go further than that. So
Okay.
that's something to think about and explore. Like, okay,
I
what?
love that. And you know, it's funny, but it's not ever a coincidence. So I
Yeah.
only heard about medicine wheels maybe 2, 3 weeks ago. And I had no idea that Destiny Retrieval was linked to a medicine wheel, but I was reading because we're going to
Oh,
Sedona in a couple of weeks.
oh,
And
cool.
Sedona has obviously all the amazing vortexes and things, but there are like medicine wheels around. And I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? So I'd only literally started reading about it a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah.
that was part of it. How cool is that?
It's very cool. Yeah. Yeah. My understanding is, and I'm not an expert on any lineages beyond, the one that I'm trained in, is that the medicine wheel is a sacred image that
Yeah.
exists throughout several different American Indian nations.
Yeah.
And it's it's an archetypal image, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. But yeah, I love that that's just like showing itself and like connected the dots together.
Yeah.
I love that. So I'll let you know if I find any in Sedona. I'll let you know.
Please do.
There are physical wheels around, and certain ones you can touch and certain ones you can't. At like all these different locations. So
yeah,
I'll let you know.
please do. Yeah, that sounds like a magical journey.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. It's part of like a bigger trip. We're over there for like holiday, but also I'm at like a business event and stuff. But then Sedona is really, really speaking to me as like a spiritual place. But I've heard the energies can be very, very intense. So we will see what presents itself when I'm there, because I do feel energies quite intensely anyway. So I'm thinking, okay, this could be an interesting trip.
Yeah, I think it's a good energy, you know.
Yeah.
I think it'll feel very enlivening.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, because it's after the event as well, so I'll be on a little high. So yeah, I think it'll be great fun. But this has been so fun. There are so many other, I could keep talking to you for like another 3 hours.
I know.
This is awesome. But for people to connect with you, where is the best place for people to find you? Where do you tend to hang out?
The best place. I'm on Instagram pretty frequently. Annalise Lawless. That's my kind of fun fake name.
Love that.
My therapy website is deeperwelltherapy.com.
Awesome. We will put all these links in the show notes as well, so people can click them.
Sweet. And then I have a kind of shamanic mentorship art site, which is just annaliseoatman.com. And yeah, Heal Your Witch Wound. You can grab that. And then my new book, when it comes out, that'll be, out there on all my channels, and you can join my email list at deeperwelltherapy.com. And I give updates once in a while. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. We will make sure we pop all those in the show notes for people. And I just have one more question, because as you know, every guest leaves a question for another guest. So I have one for you. We kind of touched on this a little bit. Maybe something that we've not touched on. But what has been your hardest challenge that gave you your biggest breakthrough?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh man. If I'm very honest, and this is really, really new stuff for me right now. And this is in the book that's coming out too. There's a bit of an exploration of this. My relationship with alcohol.
Okay.
Over the years. And kind of deconstructing what society sells to us about alcohol, and even the AA model and the label alcoholic and what it means to have a problem with alcohol. When I was preparing for my ayahuasca journeys, you do a dieta, and so that involved sobriety for a time, and that kind of initiated a sobriety journey for me that I wove in and out of it. And alcohol was one of the patterns that I went back into after ayahuasca. And I ended up having some really intense experiences, like some sexual assault experiences with alcohol, around alcohol, because of it. And now I'm on a fertility journey where IVF is the next step to becoming pregnant. But it's been going on for a while, and I'm at a point now where all these different factors have pushed me towards just being sober. And that's actually been a huge opening for me
Mm.
spiritually, a huge catalyst for my emotional growth.
Mhm.
Um, and it's such an edge for me that I don't even know what words I like to use. I don't
Mhm.
know if sober is the most appropriate or accurate designation.
Mhm.
Um, and I know different people feel strongly about this,
Mhm.
and I read Sober Curious by Ruby Warrington a couple years ago when I was going through all of that and
Mhm.
experiencing sexual assaults.
Mhm.
And and I really liked that approach for a while, but now I'm on the edge of sober, curious, and complete sobriety, which is
Yeah.
something that I never imagined I would say.
Mm.
So that's a huge, um, it's been hard for me to get to that place. And there have
Yeah.
been hard things connected to that, like
Mhm.
sexual assaults and
Yeah.
fertility journey. But yeah, that's my most authentic answer to that question.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. I think a lot more people than we probably realize are going to resonate with that
Yeah.
or need
Yeah.
to hear it as well.
Yeah. I think it's really in the collective. And
Yeah.
I think people need non-shaming language
Yeah.
and words
Yeah.
about that. And I think we're collectively kind of deconstructing how we think about it and just the
Yeah.
different ideologies around alcohol and alcoholism.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the language thing is key, that I have such a thing around language. I don't know whether this comes from like being a writer, so you might have it too, where like
Mhm.
just the words that are used, they either
Mm.
sit or they're just like, ugh, no,
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
land at all. It's a peculiar thing.
Absolutely.
Ironically, it's hard to put into words, but yeah,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
such a
That's
thing around language.
definitely. Yeah. And there have been so many aspects of the traditional AA model that didn't
Mm,
land with me, the language.
yeah,
And I know that it's so right for some people,
yeah,
and it's a lifesaver
yeah,
for
for
so
sure.
many people. It's such a force for good.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's for everyone.
No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Amazing. Thank you, my lovely. This
oh,
has been awesome. Thank you for being a
yeah,
wonderful guest.
I'm so honored. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
no, thank you. And we will make sure we pop all your links and contact information in the show notes as well, so people can reach out to you and check out your amazing world and the new book once it is released into the world as well, which is super exciting and scary. I remember it well.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
awesome. Thank you so much. And to our wonderful listeners, we will see you next week.
okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye bye.